Well, there was some interaction with the Russian team, with the Soviet team at the time. Sometimes it was pretty good. I went to, I think it was in Mexico City. We were in a high rise, and there was a little gap, and the next building over was the Soviet headquarters. And I knew people over there. I'd already met Vitebsky, who's still a lifelong friend of mine, and I had met a couple of others. The captain of their team, his English was negligible. My Russian was zero, so we chattered in fractured German, and got to be friendly. He got plastered because the meet was over. He was so sad to being away from his family for so long. He doesn't see his son anymore. The program is very demanding on the personal life, and some of the members of the women's team wanted to dance, which was okay, and it was kind of nice. They poured me some vodka. Mechanic, you want vodka? Sure. They poured me a tumbler of vodka. And they said, drink, drink, drink. So, of course, if I put that down the way they thought I would, I'd still be there. So I gave it a nice toast to the group and put that to my mouth and then turned my hand over like that behind my head. And they came to give me a refill, and they looked at it, it was like that much was missing. Oh, you don't like, maybe we have to put some mineral water in, it's too strong for you. The mineral water was sulfuric, by the way. They had brought it with them because they thought that was useful. I said, no, thanks, this is enough. And they started going, because not a big time drinker, is he? The impression. And the answer is really no. And vodka by the tumbler is poison.
I had to do that, and they didn't let me get away with what you did.
Well, you're here, so I guess it's...
getting drunk as the heat went from here all the way up, and then, you know. So, yeah.
Well, I was cautious, shall we say. And they had music on, and this one women's foil fencer wanted to dance. I said, sure, let's dance. And another one of the women's team was very standoffish, very almost hostile. She didn't understand any other language except Russian. And they said something to her, and she said, "Что?" Which means what? Forget about it. I don't know what she thought I was going to do, but her friend was happy to take her place and dance. That was the one, by the way, that had this terrible reputation. She was a rather tall fencer, and she'd get into an infight, and she'd turn her body and lay her blade on her lamé, and then come off and make the riposte. That's back when the machine didn't ignore that. Right. And so she was a cheat, but she was fun at parties. And she was really a very good fencer. But once everybody sort of knew what her game was, they had all kinds of remedies in place to prevent it from happening. One of the things they did was they modified the electronics of the scoring machines so that you could lay it on your lamé all day long and it wouldn't protect the perpetrator. So, my adventures in Mexico City. The best thing that happened to me there was seeing the Soviet team was marching past the American building, and there were some kids playing, and I was kibitzing with one of the kids there, and I recognized the one fencer walking by, and I called out, "Shalom Vitebsky." I had guessed correctly about his ethnicity. And on the way back, I said it again. He goes, because he was in a very anti-Semitic outfit there, and he didn't want to exaggerate a contact with an American, no less, who was Jewish. Let's leave that alone. So, but he came by and said, Next morning, we had to walk down to the buses to go to the training gym. And so I had to wheel my bag down the driveway, and I got to the bus, and he was already on the bus, and he went on the seat next to him. So I put my stuff on the seat behind, sat down with him, and we sat there for a while, trying to figure out what languages we had in common, if any. His English was 0 minus. My Russian was 0 minus. So we had to, so he said, Français? C'est un peu. English? Нет. Deutsch? Ja. Ein bisschen Deutsch kann ich. So there's 2 Jews from the Soviet Union, United States, in Mexico City speaking German. We became lifelong friends. He's still around. He's in Atlanta now, living near his brother down there. Keep in touch with him from time to time. And the best news of all, his family was in Ukraine, and it was very difficult to get them out for a long time. Okay. When all hell broke loose, I contacted him and said, "Did your family ever get out of Ukraine?" He says, "Yes, they're all in the United States now." Thank God. So, things that happen at the Olympic Games are not only the competition, but you can have life-changing experiences of all kinds of a nature. So, there are many stories if you got time for another one. Yes. We were in a building was the American building, and one of the people that was in there was Albert Axelrod. Some of you will recognize that name. He was third in the Olympic Games prior to that one, and he was United States national champion maybe a dozen times, I'm not sure. And he was an assertive personality. Those of you who knew him will certainly agree that he was an assertive personality. He was right, and then what do you want to know? So the rooms in the building did not have enough hanging space or storage space for the number of people they would put in a room. So we approached the administration and said, well, we'll have to wait, we don't have it here. And the organization wasn't prepared to accommodate requests for additional amenities. So Albie and I got permission to go downtown to a department store, and we bought a big wardrobe cabinet, metal cabinet, had it brought back to the village, got admitted with it, and taken up to the room. And we had our own closet we had bought on the way. Maybe we're going to get in trouble, but at least we'll have a closet. And we had they purchased it. It wasn't very expensive. The peso versus the dollar was advantageous. So we got a contact from the administration of the American delegation. You're the guys that went downtown and bought a cabinet for yourselves? Yeah. He said, congratulations. Thanks very much for taking care of it. Some days it works, and some days it doesn't work. That was one of their things. Crazy experiences. If you ever have a chance to be on an Olympic team, take it.
Nothing like it.